everybody. Good morning. How are you?
Good.
How's everybody doing?
Good.
All right. Michael in here teaching you guys how to make these deals happen? All right. Well, my name is Odess Riley of WLM Financial. We're a mortgage and lending company in Inglewood, California. We're the team that's going to come in and help you close all these great deals that Michael's helping you set up, all right? This is my business partner.
Good afternoon, I'm Tomas Johnson.
Hi. Everybody. All right, so once again, that's WLM Financial. We're here for all your mortgage needs. You can contact us by calling us at 310-905-7420, 310-905-7421. All that will be on the contact page. And also, you can check us out on Facebook at WLM Financial or our website. We just want to make sure we're a resource for you. So now that we've gotten a little housekeeping out of the way, what we're here to do, guys, is show you how to get creative and close these deals. Who in this room has been doing a lot of commercial or just getting started? Well, first, hands, who's already done a commercial deal? Okay. Who in here has been in residential for 10 years? 5 years? Who's just getting started the last 2 years? Okay, you have a nice mix in here. So, when you work in residential, one of the things you end up with is a lot of commercial deals falling into your lap. And it's not something you're used to working on, so you have to just give away that money, right? Who would like to give away money here? Nobody. All right, so now that you're here with Michael, and I know he's teaching you great information because I took this seminar myself, and it was one of the reasons we started to come in and do the lending side, because I was able to change how we do our business, how we set up our prospecting and things like that. So, now that you have the tools to get the deals, let us show you how to close them, all right? So we're going to get started. What's the difference between a commercial and a residential client, generally?
Emotion versus numbers.
Emotions, numbers, savvy buyers. One of the biggest things you're going to notice.
Waters and don't waters.
Waters and don't waters. When you're dealing with commercial, you're going to deal with a lot of investors. That's true. You're going to deal with a lot of people who are business owners. You're going to deal with people who are a little more savvy about what their money is and how it moves around. But because of that, they're going to think they know a lot more than you about what you do. And that's real estate. So we're here right now to get you started and show you what it is you need to know. What kind of real estate do you want to practice in here? So who wants to practice land? Industrial? Retail? Multifamily? All right, we got a lot of multifamily. Let's touch on that, Mr. Johnson.
Sure. As you guys made a point, you said, hey, investors are into numbers. I heard they're different for different reasons. And all that's great. But it's really about that return on investment. So you want to have a good knowledge base of the 4 to 5 main commercial asset classes, because your client will say, hey, look, I'm looking for an 8% return. And it may come in multifamily, it may come in retail, it may come in industrial. So coming to a class like this will help you get a better understanding of the main asset classes.
All right. And once you understand those asset classes, you're able to pick the right lender to get those deals done for you. Because if you like industrial, you don't want to go to a multifamily lender, right? If you like to do mixed use, you don't want to go to the land guy or land woman to do your deal, because they're going to look at you like you don't know what. And once somebody thinks you don't know what you're doing, what are they going to do with your file?
File it.
Put it at the bottom. And then your client's going to be asking you what? What's going on? Is this moving? And you're going to be calling that lender over and over and over, and they're not going to be getting back to you because they're going to say, this is a hard deal because this person doesn't know what they're doing. All right, now after we identify the asset class we want to work in, the next thing you want to do is be able to identify your clients. You want to make sure you have a deal coming in, because what is the one thing that as agents you don't have a lot of? Time. And your time is your what? Money. So you don't want to spend your time and your money running in circles. So you got to be able to identify who you're working with. You need to start asking more questions. So everybody knows there's programs for residential. It's like Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, conventional, whatever. It's just a program. Everything fits into a box. Then you go into commercial, and you go to the lender, and we're asking you all these weird questions because every deal is different. So you need to be able to qualify your client, Mr. Johnson.
So we all like to say commercial isn't very emotional. The emotion side comes in on the finance side with that underwriting. The underwriter is the emotional person.
Oh, yeah.
So there is emotion still in commercial real estate. Luckily, it's not on the sales side, it's on the financing side, but you still have to display a good package. By a show of hands, how many people use a transaction coordinator? The reason you use a transaction coordinator is to usually package up the deal for you, work with title and escrow so you can move on to the next part of your transactions, and also so you don't look at that, right? Because you're going to miss a paperwork here and there, and you hire that transaction coordinator to take care of that. That's kind of what the good lender does for you. And every student that comes through Michael Simpson's programs always can call us, and we will educate you on what we're doing, why we're doing it, so you don't have to feel nervous about calling the lender and saying, hey, I don't know if I should take this to them. We're here for you for that purpose.
Right. So when you're qualifying a residential client, you have a specific thing you're going to ask for to do 1003. You're going to ask for 2 years of taxes, you're going to ask for ID, social, blah, blah, blah. When you're looking at commercial, everybody says, oh, isn't it the property that's going to qualify the person? Yes and no. It's going to be some of the property and some of the client, and you have to mix them well. So the first difference is how many years of taxes do you want for residential? 2. Commercial, we want 3. We want 3 years of taxes, because we want to know how this person has been performing, what they're doing. When you're looking at down payment, what are we looking at on residential generally?
Minimum.
Minimum.
3.5%.
3.5%. Everybody loves that number, right? Commercial, what are we talking about? 30 up generally. You can get in lower, but that client's going to have to be very qualified, or that property's going to have to be special. Especially with the market we're in right now, we're going to look at 30 and up on most deals. Not every deal, but on most deals. Want to add anything to that?
We have a question.
I have a question.
Yes.
Does foreign national qualify for commercial loan?
Yes.
And what are the requirements?
Every deal is going to be a little different, and for something specific like that, we can grab you after the class and go over it. Foreign national is a little more different. It has,
You know, typically you're at 20 or 30% down. They like to see 30. And because this is a hotbed topic, you know, not to go off topic too much, but think of it this way. There's the money in the country. Do they have someone in here that's going to be, the property's going to be in their name? Those are all the things that will take the time to figure out how long the deal's going to close and how much they have to put down.
And that
But
money-
typically, the deal has to make sense. First of all, if the deal makes sense and we're putting in a good chunk, 30 or 40%, we're ready to go. Depending what country they're coming from, their funds may not be able to be released right away. So are the funds already in the nation?
Yeah.
That's the first important question with any foreign national.
and that 30 to 40% needs to be seasoned, not just in the country, but here for a certain amount of time to make sure that it's coming into the country the right way.
How long is your seasoning? 6 weeks?
It
Every deal is
depends.
different?
Yeah, every deal is different, but typically at least 60 days you want to have seasoning in for foreign nationals. And again, they may have their money stuck in their country
I know.
first, and then here, and then the seasoning starts in the United States.
Especially with AMLA.
Exactly.
So if anyone is working with foreign nationals, ITIN clients, or international clients, the best thing to do is have them get their funds in the nation as soon as possible. Okay, it can be done without it, but again, the more curves you add, you end up going in circles instead of getting to your destination.
It depends.
At least 60 days. I saw a question over here.
Do you handle 1 to 4 unit? 1 to 4
Yes.
residential?
The question was, do we handle 1 to 4 units? And
And if my client has, like, he wants to buy a fourplex room, $1 million, he has $500,000, this is 50%, and he does not want to show income tax, does it work?
yes,
Our-
we actually have a program that we'll talk, I don't want to call it a program, but we have a mindset that we're going to go over after we get off this slide about how to finance deals for those people that use real estate as a business and may not show the taxable income. So we'll go over that. I'm glad you asked that. One more and then we'll get back. But I mean, we will have time at the end to answer every question, so make sure you guys write it down. But sir,
Do you guys do construction financing?
question was, do we do construction financing? Yes. Is it residential construction or commercial? Is it
Commercial.
multi-units or
Commercial.
okay, retail?
Retail?
Yes.
Do you already have the land?
That's the question, that's where I was going, is the land count towards the 30%?
Generally, we want you to have the land because you gotta put a lot of in when you're getting land.
The answer is yes, we have the land, so.
Okay. So, just to give everyone else, because I know you have a good understanding of commercial construction, just since the question was asked, typically you're buying land, it's 50% down.
Correct.
Now, a land lender is typically different than a construction lender, so they want to see that you bought the land, and then you control it, and then the construction takes out the land. And then you have a third deal sometimes, and that's the takeout lender of the construction. So it's typically a 3-loan process unless they already own the land. If they already do own the land, then it's going to be a construction financing and a takeout loan afterwards. Construction lenders like to see that you have a takeout in place and have the exit strategy already moving forward.
That is a strategy that they're part of being construction. You can get that loan for the construction. All right? So now we already talked about the 20 to 30% down. Everybody in here has a good understanding of that. And the reason I'm sticking to these identify is because one of the things everybody's gonna tell you is what? When you ask them, do they have the money, what are they gonna say? Yes, I do.
Where is it?
Where is it? You're gonna be like, oh, yeah, I have the money. I wanna buy this building. And then they're gonna tell you what when you get to the close? When you need that money in escrow, what are they gonna tell you?
What money?
Surplus funds.
Oh, I'm borrowing it. My dad's loaning it to me. Oh, I'm getting a commission. Oh, blah, 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 blah. Whatever the reason. Is it sourced? You know, when you get money as a gift from somebody, they're gonna wanna source that person, right? So your cousin was gonna gift it to you. And he has a construction business. And he doesn't like people looking at all his books and everything. Now, you're getting this money from him, and you have to tell him, oh, you know what? To give me this money, the bank wants to look through your books. That deal just got hairy, right? You would have liked to know this up front, right? So what we need to do is make sure we're asking questions. We're not telling you to become accountants or sleuths or any of that, but you need to make sure you're asking hard questions to your clients. And nobody likes to lose with clients, so sometimes we don't want to ask questions. But to make your life easier and not to get to the middle of the race and then realize that you don't have your shoes on, you want to make sure that you're asking things like, hey, can I see your taxes? And you don't have to be accountants again, but you need to be able to look and see basic things because everybody in here is 1099, most of us, right?
Yeah.
So on our taxes,
I know the cameras are running, so we're not going to ask too many questions about your guys' taxes. But since the cameras can't see everybody, by show of hands, I'll turn my back. How many of you guys show all the income you make and don't write it off? So your investors are the same way, right? Due diligence. Everyone who's had some real estate experience, when you first got a residential client, let's say, you let that client walk the walk, talk the talk. You didn't really press them on the stuff you needed from them because you're so happy to be a client. Don't take that same beginning step in commercial as you're venturing into this. You have a set due diligence and set guidelines you've been working with on clients. Take those same ones into commercial where you know, hey, look, unless you show me proof of funds, tax returns, the basic stuff, I'm not going to work with you because you haven't shown propensity that you're ready to go. Don't start over with commercial. You've already built a strong base. Take it with you. And the great thing about residential realtors that go into commercial, that you guys have a strong understanding of follow-up, a strong understanding of marketing, and most commercial realtors do not do that. So take your strengths and then just into the different asset classes that you're going into.
because time is what?
Money.
And money is what?
Right.
All right.
Helps to get there.
So we're just trying to make sure that, you know, you're really focusing on this identifying who you're working with, because it's really going to save you a lot of time, and it's going to make sure your files move a lot quicker through underwriting, okay?
Do you have program 20% down?
20% down for commercial, yes. But with that, we have to make sure the DSCR, you guys have went over DSCR already? Okay, the debt service coverage ratio, you know, for most commercial deals, you're looking at 1.20 to 1.25. If the property does it at 20%, if you're talking multifamily, between 35% expenses, 5% property management fee, and 5% vacancy, so that's 45%. If it does that, then 20 is definitely on the table, right? Typically, right now, with the market we're having, the prices we are, in Southern California especially, it's going to be tougher to get 20% because the numbers don't spread out. But there are those deals where it does. It may be a Maybe it's your client who's pulling money out of one of their deals in order to buy another. Since they have equity, then it could work because they're not pulling out the whole process. And then from there, they can have
So you
funds.
say in minimum is like 30 or
20 is the minimum.
your minimum is?
But more than likely, with the prices being where they are for purchases right now, and the income, we're looking at about 30, just because the numbers don't make sense.
Unless you're talking about an SBA loan, where you might be able to get in a little lower, but there's gonna be different qualifications for those. So you're looking at SBA. We can go over a little bit of it, and like I said, we'll be here.
Afterwards, during your lunchtime.
And if it's specific bills you wanna talk about, we can go over those. We're trying to keep it a little general because we want everybody to be able to keep up, all right? Yes.
Do you do, pre-underwriting qualification for our clients?
Pre-underwriting qualification for client, good question, yes, we do. We will let you know, hey, look, these are the strengths of the client, these are the weaknesses, this is what has to be overcome for this to be able to move smoothly throughout the transaction.
So, we have clients call us all the time from the seminars, and they just wanna run a scenario. It's, hey, Tomas or Odessa, this building here, this city, it makes this much money, guy has this much money down, what do you think? And we'll just go over it, tell them, you know what, they need to bring in a little bit more money, oh, this doesn't cash flow enough, this is gonna be really hard to build close, but if you can get it leased up a little higher, X, Y, and Z, all right? Now, do you go to the shoe store to get ice cream? Anybody? No, because they're two different things, right? But when you look at your bank or your lender, everybody just thinks, it's a bank. I'll go there, they'll close this deal for me. No. Your industrial guy deals with industrial loans. Your commercial retail deals with retail. Your multifamily deals with multifamily. So when you're looking for loans, you need to know who you're going to. There's a book or there's a website called Scotsman's Guide. And there's a few others, but the Scotsman's Guide is the one that's really just simple and easy to understand. Everybody in here needs to write that down. Everybody needs to get signed up. Everybody needs to be looking and understanding how lenders work.
Scotsman's Guide. It is number 5. Okay. Scotsman's Guide, it's a website as well as a book. They'll send you out the book. They have a commercial lender list and a residential lender list.
Because the Scotsman's going to allow you to understand who you're dealing with. So when you're looking in there, you're going to say, all right, I have this 7-unit apartment in Nevada that is selling for $2 million. You need to know that this lender works in the $2 million range, that it works in Nevada, and that it does multifamily. Because if you call up the guy who does industrial and you're like, hey, I have this deal, what is he going to do with your file? Put it on the bottom. We make sure we're not getting our files put on the bottom. Because we want to close deals, right? Who likes to chase deals around and not close them? Any hands?
Nope.
Okay.
And just to make a point on that, certain restaurants do something very good, but they may sell French fries, right? But they're really not known for that. So they charge a little more for that because they don't sell that much. Same with these lenders. Certain lenders are more competitive in certain asset classes because that's what they do. They still may do industrial, but they are a multifamily lender. What I mean by that is their underwriters can do things very fast on the asset class and in that city that they work on all the time. But now if you're asking them to research a property in a secondary market that is in an asset class they don't normally do, they have to allocate funds, especially for that end time. But they also got 10 deals in their pipeline today of what they normally do. So even if it isn't pure neglect, it just isn't that important to them to get to your file right now because we've got 10 of our sweet spot in here. Just like you may have a client that you only work with people that do 20% down on residential, let's say. And then you get one client who wants to do 3.5 FHA. If you've got 10 clients putting 20% down, going conventional, you don't have to worry about inspections and things like that, the natural thing is work with the road of less issues, and then you go to that client. Lenders and everyone else are going to do the same thing. So it's just imperative to have a knowledge of who you're working with, and is that their deal. And the good thing about us is that we are here to guide you through that. We close deals in every single asset class. So working with us as a broker, even though we do have warehouse lines on the residential side, working with us as a broker, it allows you guys to talk to us and say, who is this deal going to work with? And then we can walk you through that process. In this case, kind of like a transaction coordinator to help you get there for your client.
All right. So, you gotta make sure you're looking into what lenders you're working with. We would love it to be us, but whoever it is, you need to make sure you're qualifying them just like a client so that you can get your deals closed. All right? So check out the Scotsman's Guide, go through it, spend a day just trying to get a little understanding, or an hour, get a little understanding for it, and all the different classes of lenders. All right? And once you got that, and you start to get people a call, you need to know how to speak the language.
My favorite part. You have to know all the acronyms. DSCR, NOI, debt versus yield ratio. What's the cap rate? What's the growth? What's the gross rent multiplier in this deal? GRM. That's what the people want to hear, right? Doesn't make it right or wrong, but that's how they judge you. And so you have to be prepared to have that basic conversation with people. Everyone's learning what cap rate is right now. Everyone's learning what gross rent multiplier is. But you don't want to say what's the gross rent multiplier if we're talking about a deal that typically they don't use that. Let's say industrial, they may not use that terminology for that. So you want to understand what they're looking for. And it's okay to do an email first time around. You may not want to call the person right away. Start with that to get a better understanding of it. But speaking the language is important, just like if someone's looking to buy a house and they say, well, hey, I want to buy a house, but what's it? I don't know. Okay, well, how much do you have down? I don't know. 2 I don't knows, your time is, you're already judging that person. A lender, an account executive isn't going to be different. And the average lender has these account executives. And they're just people that are relaying information from one source to the next. They gather you in, and then they push it over to the underwriter. The better you have that information together for them, they look cool, they look smart, and they can take it that way. So the better you supply them with information, the better it goes.
Because on a house, you pay what every month? On a building, you pay what every month? So you don't want to be talking about mortgages when you're talking to a commercial lender, because they're already going to be thinking what? And they're going to be putting your file where? At the bottom. All right? Recognize the importance of keeping up to date on laws. What changed with our taxes this year? Residential.
Cap on
Mortgage deductions,
interest.
right? When you're working with savvy investors, we're talking about commercial. What's really important to them every year if they're a business owner? Their taxes. So you need to know if you're using a certain sales pitch that we've been talking about for years, did it change? Are you going to say you're flying on the same tax scenario that you've been selling on last year? No. Same thing with commercial. You need to know, okay, soft story undertuck parking, retrofitting a building. That's just important for something to keep up with, right? Mm-hmm. Because if you get a client to buy a property and it is not retrofit, what are you going to be dealing with?
Retrofit.
Who's going to pay for that? Seller, the owner's going to pay for it?
No.
Or am I just going to, it's a seller's market, I'm just going to go find another client. So the buyer, but you need to know walking your client into this, right? Mm-hmm. Because you are what to your client?
Resource.
Resource and the expert. And once you're not the expert, what do they start doing? Finding another person. After you've done all what? Work. Who's got to the finish line to find a cousin deal in their deal?
The cousin realtor.
The cousin realtor who just slides in, he just got his license last week. After you analyzed the property, driven around the property, called, got lenders, got everything, and then somebody just steps in. That's horrible, right?
Yeah.
Nobody likes that building. So we want to make sure we're keeping up to date on all the laws that are changing so you can be the expert. Next thing, determine your client has realistic expectations. You need 30% down to buy $1 million building. How much is that? If they have $150,000, should you be showing them $1 million property? No. Because you're doing what?
Both your time.
Both of your time. So make sure your clients have realistic expectations when you're talking to them. Because people who have a little bit of money sometimes think they have a lot more than they do. And when we're talking about real estate, we're talking about big numbers. Mm-hmm. So you need to make sure you have set that expectation so that you can be the expert. Add anything to that?
No, I think we did it pretty good. Make sure they have what they need in
recognize also that you are qualifying the client and the building. We talked about it a little earlier. This is an art and a science, but it's commercial. In commercial, you're not just dealing with, boom, this fits here, I'm gonna move it over, and I can just repeat. In commercial, the one client who just bought this multifamily decides he wants to buy a restaurant and retail space. Those are two different deals. Is this person qualified to run a restaurant? Or is this just something they want to do now? When you come to the lender may say, we need them to put more money down because we don't know if they can operate this building or this restaurant. And we don't want them to default and be stuck with this restaurant that we can't run ourselves as the bank. So you need to make sure that when you're talking to them, you have that great understanding of where you're moving.
So the term you'll hear used a lot is global DSCR. Have you guys heard that term yet? Global. Okay, so regular DSCR, debt service coverage ratio of the property. Global debt service coverage ratio is the person, their income, all their debts, plus the property. So most people want to see a global DSCR, their total input and output for this client. And that will change for your client every time they do a deal. Because they just bought this property, here's the debt from that property, here's the income. Now they bought a business, here's the debt from that, here's the income for that. So that's a term you will hear. Someone may ask you guys, hey, what's the global DSCR? So that's a tidbit. You may not need to know the answer just yet, but just know, start thinking of that.
Who in here, by a show of hands, like to pay high interest rates?
Come on, somebody. Nobody, I hear nobody. Okay, well, all of you should. All right, see the enthusiasm.
Commercial, yeah.
So, who's here at 1099 independent contractor?
Show of hands.
Whose real estate company pays them a W-2? Just making sure I'm going to join that. All right, whose clients are 1099 or self-employed? Okay, a good show of hands. All right. So, who likes to pay high taxes? Like we said, the answer was an astonishing 0. All right. Okay, let's take a look at a scenario. $200,000 in a self-employed 1099 income. So if you make $200,000 a year self-employed, you should be at the 30% tax bracket. That equals $60,000 a year in taxes. Okay? So you make $200,000 cash non-W-2. Who's going to give up $60,000 to the IRS? Okay, moving on. So year number 2, same thing, another $60,000. So if we just looked at this as a 2-year scenario, but typically in commercial, how many years do you need to see taxes?
3.
Perfect. That would be $120,000 in tax. Who's happy to pay the IRS that amount? Okay, next scenario. Typically, as I said, you need 3 years for commercial real estate. So let's look at a loan scenario. $1 million purchase price at 20% down because the young lady up front wanted to see if she can get 20%. Let's say it's at a great rate of 4.75%, amortized over 25 years, because you guys know most typical commercial deals are amortized over 25 years. Some do go up to 30. But most lenders or banks are going to do 25 years. The DSCR of 1.25. So $1 million minus 20% down is $200,000 equals $800,000 loan amount. Everybody okay so far?
Yes.
$800,000 loan amount at 4.75 interest rate gave you a payment, I believe, about $45.60. Okay, so let's do a total cash input or outlay. 2 years taxes, $120,000, down payment of $200,000 equals a total cash outlay of $320,000. So let's stop right there. Why are we calculating the taxes? Because this person had to pay 2 years taxes in order to qualify, and typically it would be really 3, but he had to pay at least, or she had to pay at least 2 years of taxes to qualify for a full documentation, conventional style commercial loan. So for them to qualify, we're at $320,000 so far. Okay, go back. Can you go back on that real easy? Okay, so $320,000 to buy $1 million property at 80% LTV, which stands for? You guys are acronym stars, that's what I'm talking about. All right, next one. So option number 2, put 30% down as a stated income program. Commercial stated income, who was in the industry back when stated income residential, where you get 103% financing, where you got 3% back.
Just arrange the deal.
Crazy.
Yeah. This isn't the same thing. You have to put 30% down. What does that mean? The lender is secure because they know you're in 30%. So in $1 million property, if you put in 300,000, my lending, I'm at 700,000, I'm at 700,000 input, I'm okay, you're screwed. You don't usually want to use 300,000. I'm okay, because if I have to sell it and put it back on the market and clean it up, I should break even and hopefully I'll make a little bit of money.
And if you put that 300,000 in, what have you already done with that property? You've already brought that equity. Instead of using that money to do what?
Right. So, this person may have been paying the tax advantage game to where they haven't put any money, they haven't claimed all the money they could have on the taxes. So $300,000 down, $700,000 loan amount, 9%, typically stated income or hard money deals are amortized over 30-year amortization. That gives you a payment of $56.32. And there are some programs, if it's stated, that are going to be no DSCR. So maybe your client's buying multifamily and they plan on kicking everybody out, or they're buying an empty space, or they're buying a space that's to be rehabbed. Most conventional lenders don't want to work with that because they need the income to be turned over. In that scenario, someone wouldn't have to worry about that. So now we're looking at both scenarios side by side. Let's go back to scenario one. Okay? Option one, 200,000 to the bank, 120 to your favorite uncle, equals 320 overall, and you have to plan at least for 2 years. But typically, to buy this property, you'd have to plan for 3 years. Equals a payment of $45.60. And this is just principal and interest, no taxes, no insurance. Okay? Option number two, 300,000 goes to the bank, no tax return, you have more equity, no need to plan besides to have the liquidity, and a payment of $56.32. So off the top, we see we have about $1,100 difference between option one and option two. Next one. So, paying taxes, waiting two to 3 years, 120% in taxes equals $1,100. So, over time, if you did that, 120 divided by 1,100 takes about 9 years to break even on the extra $120,000 they gave to the IRS. Now, how many clients do you work with that are 1099 that show they don't make much money on paper?
Let me see 2 hands.
Okay.
So
So,
believe everybody.
I saw 2, I saw small hands here and there, which makes me, there it is. You know, out of this class, I saw about 11 to 12 people. So this program, I hate to say the word program, but this option is great for some of your clients. Now your clients that pay their full taxes and they pay 40 grand, 30 grand in taxes, you know, this isn't a program they need. But for your clients that aren't claiming everything, this could be a good program for them. Because it helps you, because you get to let them know, look, we have options. You have 30%, we can buy some property. And for them, they're not stuck saying, well, I can't do anything for the next couple of years. Is $1,100 difference worth paying the taxes? I can't say yes, I can't say no, but your client can. For them, they'll be able to say, hey, look, with the way I do my business, paying 2 to 3 years of taxes isn't going to help me. I need to take those write-offs that I have. Because as you guys know, when you own a commercial property or any type of investment property, there's a lot more write-offs than you do for residential. And commercial property or investment property, that tax law didn't change to where there's only a certain amount you can write off. Everybody do the wave. Come on. Mindset and strategies are different for different people in different scenarios.
We're not telling you this is how you should do every day. We're saying this is different business. This isn't like residential. There are programs. This is being creative. So we need your minds to switch into a creative mode because we want you to close these deals. And we don't want you to see them and automatically think you can't and just say, oh, no, that's not going to work. Because with commercial, you have the ability to get creative. You have the ability to use leverage and different things. And the more you know, it gives you more options to close more deals. And that's what you're all here to do. All right, so we just want you thinking. It's not, oh, let me take every one of my clients to this. No, we never say that. But we want you to have it in your head, in your toolkit, right? Because you can say, you know what? Taxes were a little weird on this. But you know what? We have a lender that can do X, Y, and Z. We can get you in this property. We can stabilize it. Then we can, a year later, we can roll you into another loan. And then you can have the equity in this because you put more money in, take that out possibly and buy another property. All right, so it's just a way of thinking different.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you offer hard money loans?
The question was, do we offer hard money loans? Yes, we do. So hard money loans typically have that name hard money because it's been expensive, right? There may be a 10% interest rate, 11%, 12%. Typically, our hard money deals are worth between 8 and 10%. We like to call it private money, but yes, that's the new term. I had a person waiting in the back, I apologize.
Owner-occupied single tenant.
Owner occupied single tenant retail or anything, but still commercial. Okay, so the question is, can we do owner occupied single tenant commercial? Yes, there's a couple of people that actually like that. SBA is one of the main people that like that, but there's other banks that actually will take that deal. But because it is one person, and if you fail, they have to put a new person in that business, there's less banks willing to do that because their risk is higher.
But that is when the SBA does step in, like the young lady was asking about. When you have a property that you're gonna be occupying, the government, they try to make sure that businesses grow in this country. So they'll step in and help with SBA when you know that this investor is actually invested in themselves and in a business that can pay taxes within the community. So that's one option you have. And sometimes you can get in those as low as 15% down.
Yeah. SBA will say 10%, but we like to say 15 as that worst case scenario. We're not the type of people that will sell you on the best case scenario and then something happens, or they sell you on the worst and then it comes in better. Did you have a follow-up question about that?
Well, I mean, SBA is always available, but it's expensive and it's excruciating for paperwork.
Yes.
I mean,
That's why
so
you
my
get a good
question
lender.
is, do you do something other than SBA?
Yes, we do have a good program for that. But again, it's so tough because does that business actually show it makes money?
Well, I mean, it's a scenario. So.
Yeah, we would love to be able to look at a scenario like that. It's not a no, it is definitely a yes. Let's see how it pans out.
And some of that excruciating workouts you're talking about,
It's really our job.
Well, it's like quarterly. I mean,
but our job is to help you put that together. We don't want to do everything for you, but we definitely want to help you put it together so that everybody can eat, all right?
Yeah, we've got an SBA right now to where the client is buying a library that closed down, changing it into a restaurant, changing zoning, adding a second floor. And we're in the trenches on this transaction. So we're not afraid to do it, but the client has to do their part, and the real estate person has to do their part.
He leaves the country only every other week.
Everybody
I need paperwork. So I'm doing half of his paperwork just because, once again, it's
A lot
a
of
thing.
lender, right? Different category, right?
Yeah.
You have a question right here.
Yeah, I noticed a lot of industrial lenders have cutoffs for purchase price and loan amounts. I've got a smaller client, like a $600,000, $700,000 industrial client. Is that something you guys would service or no?
Yeah. Question was, 600,000, 700,000 industrial, is that something that we could look at and do? Sure. Now typically with commercial, what he was saying, it's a lower loan amount. Typically commercial lenders don't like to look at anything under 750,000 or $1 million because the cost of their funds and the outlay and the underwriting time to get it, they rather just lump that money up into a different deal. But yes, we do have good small balance commercial financing options. I have a question in the back.
I do have a question for you. Do you have clients that's trying to apply for SBA loan? But it's trying to apply for an SBA loan that is in regarding to performa on their business.
Got it. So the question was SBA financing for a business, how does it work? And I've done SBA for businesses. That's not, obviously we're here about real estate today, but an SBA loan will work for a business on pro forma, which means that if you can show us over the next 3 to 5 years how you plan on growing this business and how everything looks, we can do it. So perhaps they're buying a franchise or something like that.
No, they're expanding their current dance studio to double the size.
Got it. So they're trying to expand their business. So the SBA wants to see how does we give you this money equal you having more business. So that's very normal, and they do lend off that.
But
Now,
they're buying the building though. They're trying
yes,
to buy a building.
Yep, buying the building. And with SBA, they want to see you occupying 51% of the space. So if you can buy an SBA owner occupied and buy a multi-unit building,
That's the
but it
best.
has to be 51% occupied by that person at the time of the loan.
And then you gotta make sure the performance is gonna make sense.
Okay.
A lot of
Yeah.
business owners, we do our business in a way that is the most productive for us. Well, once you start looking at the SBA, they want to see things in a standard set way of bookkeeping, how they ran it, how they're actually getting these projections. So you got to make sure that it really makes a lot of sense before you start trying to package a deal that's gonna take a good amount of your time.
And by the way, we don't have any more slides, so this is question and answer time. So now's the time to ask questions.
We do refinance on a duplex and stated income, and if so, what's the loan to value?
Sure. Question was, can we do a refinance on a duplex stated income? When obviously when we all hear stated income, we just learned that the client may not have the taxes to prove that they can go regular conventional.
Was that
Yes.
owner or was that?
No. What about
No,
loan to
no,
value? I think that's-
Loan to value, sure. Loan to value typically no more than 70–75%. Interest rate, stated income, depending on the person's credit, anywhere between 7.5 and 9.5.
And depending on
If the
the
person
area.
has a 400 credit score, things are different.
And where's the property located?
It's kind of quick, too.
Yeah, so yeah, stated income is, the better stated income rates are gonna be based on credit as well as experience. If they see you own multiple properties and they see that it can make sense, you're okay.
Is it fixed interest rate or adjustable?
Is it fixed or adjustable? Typically, they're gonna be fixed for a certain amount of time. So most commercial loans are 5-year fixed, 10-year fixed, and they're amortized over 25 or 30. Hard money's the same way, private money's the same way, typically 3 years or 5, right? They know that they are a Band-Aid typically. And so, hey, you got the property, what's your exit strategy? Someone wanna know how you're gonna pay us off, right?
How are we gonna get our money back? Because the bank doesn't want your property.
Yeah.
The bank wants their money back. So, one of the things you can do to help yourselves be more expert in the business is start working on your client's exit strategy. If they're doing something that's putting them into a hard money deal, is how do you transition them out of that deal into their next permanent loan? All right?
That was the last one, I believe.
Depends on the deal. There's prepayment penalties. How is the client's credit? Do they own any other property? Are they gonna wrap around the property to make sure that it's taken care of? You know, all these different things weigh into how that deal can be done.
Do you have a hard money that's 3 or 5 and you want to pay it
Yes.
off in, say, a year and a half?
Yes,
You're
so,
paying it-
you know, we put a deal together right now, there's a 3-month prepayment penalty, one is 6 months, one is 12 months, and one is 0 months. It just all depends, what's your client's exit strategy? If, hey, we're not gonna do anything for 2 years, then there's no reason paying extra fees to get no prepayment penalty if you know you don't need it.
We had a client, they didn't want a prepayment penalty, and then we had a conversation with them, and they weren't gonna be able to pay it off for 2 years anyway. They weren't gonna be able to get out, so it's like, why are you worried about it? Let's just get you into the ones that can get you the best deal overall. All right?
Any last questions before our time is up?
Oh,
On the Scotsman guide, is that something that's updated like annually?
Every,
Yeah, they update annually.
no, it's updated all the time.
Yeah.
Online.
Yeah.
It's
They're
updated
online.
every
It's-
day.
They always update their lenders.
I think it's quarterly.
They know that the people exist, right? They don't call and say, hey, you know, are you this, are you this, or they ask them the information, they send in their information. But they don't have a data analyst going through saying, hey, did you close this deal, this deal, this deal, this deal? Got it? I think that's our
I
time.
think that's our time, guys.
We'll be back.
How was that? Is that good? Awesome. Well, they'll be around through lunch, right? So they're here for us. If you have any other questions and things like that. Hey, great job, you guys. They always knock out the park. So thank you so
guys.
much.
Thanks for having us out.